Yo, it's Zens, back with another video. Hope you guys are all doing well in these really strange times. Today, we're going to actually be doing something highly requested by you guys. A full mixing tutorial, basically. This is I'm only going to be recording for like 10 minutes because I don't mix very long. It doesn't take very long for me. And I usually mix throughout the beat while I'm making it. So that's already a first tip there. Just make sure you're mixing basically while you're making the beat. Make sure you're still leveling stuff. Make sure that nothing is too loud. It could still be hitting hard, but at the same time make sure everything is generally leveled, and then you get in and you fine tune everything, and that's where the nitty gritty of like mixing is, you know what I mean? So without further ado, if you guys like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Let's get into it. So the main melody is from Holy's Feelings drum kit. Please go check that out. Dude is super underrated right now, even though he did just hit a milestone and stuff like that, but dude is still, in my opinion, super underrated, super dope producer. And the other bell melody here is from Hellbox Broccoli drum kit. Also go check them out. Those guys are dope, and they're actually putting out content now. They actually do tutorials like me and stuff. So go over there, check them out, see if you like their type of content too. And yeah, most of the drums are also from Holy's Feelings drum kit, so definitely go check that out. It's definitely worth the money. Both drum kits are definitely worth the money. Super dope sounds in both of those kits. So first and foremost, I usually keep on the master classic clipper, and I use T-Rex. If you have a few extra bucks laying around, definitely go grab this. Super dope plugin, and I usually just keep it on the default preset at this point, but you can make presets. I've heard of people actually cranking up the output to a certain point and putting the gain on a different knob and messing with the slope a little bit. The slope basically crunches on the right and then it softens up on the left, so that's all up to preference. I just kept it on 6 for some reason on this, and that's usually what I do because I don't like I hit my mic. I don't really prefer either one, honestly. I just leave it neutral and then I just mix it myself. So yeah, I just mix with this straight off the bat. So before I made this beat, I just go and put the classic clipper on and then I make the beat. So that's all up to you guys, but me personally, I don't like when stuff is like super clippy off the bat. So while I'm making the beat, I just make sure I have the clipper on there and it kind of has that sound that I want already. So it helps in a lot of aspects. So the first thing you want to do is listen through the beat. Make sure you're playing the part where all of the sounds are playing at once, or the most amount of sounds, because you want to mix it like that. And you can pretty much do it by routing everything in the channel rack to the mixer track, and then you want to mix it from there. You want to start soloing things and leveling it like that. Me generally, like, this beat is pretty well mixed already. There's a few things that's a little too loud, and I'm going to try to tune that now, but we got to route it first. So all you got to do is hold shift on your keyboard, which can translate to a few different keys depending on what OS you're using. So hold shift or the corresponding key, and then you just left click all of the sounds that you want to go to the mixer. All right, so I did this actually pretty articulate because I want to do it in a way where we can organize everything perfectly. So we're going to have these two melodies most likely in the same mixer, so you don't want to select those, right? You want to go ahead and select everything that's going to be in an individual mixer track. So we're going to go ahead and do the drums. So we select the drums, right? So you could just shift on your keyboard and then click on however many channels you want to route to the mixer, right? And the same thing for the synths. Those two synths, I was about to say synths. And the same thing for the synths too. I'm gonna have both of those probably, most likely, in the same mixer track, right? So we leave those alone because if we select both of those, they're gonna put synth 1 and synth 2 into separate mixer tracks and name those accordingly, right? We're gonna leave those off too. Then everything else, for the most part, we'll actually put string stab in here and beat outro and bells, because those are all things I want in a separate mixer track. So that's done now. If you go to the mixer track, right, then you just right click the first insert, you go to channel routing, and you select the second option. Boom. It literally just organized everything for you, and you can see now why I preemptively named it like really organized. So you can do track outs super easy now. You don't have to rename these because they're all actually correct right now. So this is where most people might diverge from my style. Most people would just go ahead and just make these into separate mixer tracks too, like the synths and the melody, but I'm going to do it myself. So we go here and rename insert 11 melody, right? And then this one is going to be for the synths. So we just name that synth or whatever. And then we route both of these to 11 and the synths to 12. Now I do have some other sounds like transitions and stuff that'll be in an effects insert. So let's do that too. We just put FX and we'll just route all of the effects that include just transitions and stuff to that mixer track. So as you can see, everything has a number now because you filled everything into a correct mixer track. So some of them will be duplicates because these are going to be in the same mixer track, as well as these ones and the effects and stuff. Make sure you're viewing all on the drop down menu and it'll show everything in your beat. Make sure you're not missing anything. You can clean these up actually. These are just like the stock sounds or something like that. And of course, if you didn't know already, we're doing this mixer track stuff because you could easily level everything right in the channel rack, right? But we're routing it to the mixer track, most importantly, so we could put effects on it. But even more importantly, we want to get those ready for stems. And if you already know how to export into stems, you go to export, you go to wave, right? You would save it here on the desktop or wherever, and then you would hit split mixer tracks, right? And that only will allow you to split mixer tracks if you put everything in the mixer tracks, right? So you want to make sure those are organized and ready for the engineer so he can read everything. Oh, that's the rim. That's the hi-hat, that's the 808, that's the open hat or whatever. So you want to make sure it's semi-organized. As you can see, I'm not even color coding this and stuff like that. We're just doing like a quick mix, right? So yeah, at this point, everything is routed. So all we got to do is start listening and leveling the drums, the melody, the whole beat basically. Okay, so I guess I got something going here. I might fine tune it later after the video and let the beat play or whatever. But for now, I think that's pretty standard mixing right there. Hi-hats are pretty low. They're laying a little bit under the 808. Everything's pretty level now. So usually after this, I start putting effects on the melodies and stuff like that, spacing everything out, making everything sound wider. And then we just go straight on to mastering. mixed it a little bit lower. I usually actually do that with most of my beats, so it's pretty much hitting 0, obviously because of the clipper, but it's making sure it's at 0 decibels. But some of the sounds I usually crank louder, but I bring it back a little bit because I'm about to go on the master and put a bunch of stuff on there. So I want to make sure when we push a few things up that it doesn't start actually clipping. So on the master, there's only a few things you need. I usually just have clipper and a few of my own personal like preferences, but you really just need the clipper on there and some sort of booster. You want to boost the highs a little bit, and if you need a little low end, you want to boost the lows too, and maybe boost the mid. So I usually use Fab Filter, I use Up Stereo Pro, and this is from previous tutorials. A lot of people know that I use these things. Up Stereo Pro, Fab Filter, Classic Clipper of course, and a lot of times I put Fruity Multi-Band Compressor on the master as well, and that's usually just it. So let's go ahead and do that now. I usually put the Fruity Multi-Band Compressor first. Like I said in the other video, you go down to mastering 2.4 and you take the limiter off, and then you listen to the beat again. After that, I usually put Up Stereo Pro on. And finally, I put Fab Filter on. And I just kind of listen to it and boost where needed, and this is something you could do too, and that's pretty much it. So the only thing we actually didn't do is, if you didn't notice, I might have not played it, but the outro, I usually just pitch the beat down, well, record it in editing, throw it at the end, pitch it down, put some reverb on it. So I'm gonna just put some reverb on there, crank it up, turn the dry pretty much all the way down, turn the decay up, get some separation in there, definitely cut the lows quite a lot because it just reverberates a bunch of low end and it just sounds terrible. So just spastically saving right now, of course. I don't know why I do that, but it's just force of habit. You always want to press this option, then go to create automation clip, bring it down, bring it all the way down here, right under the master, go up to where the end of the beat is at, and then I just kind of fade it in towards the end. So it sounds sort of cool, I guess. Now see, this actually sounds pretty good, but I'm probably just gonna leave it at the original pitch and just put Ross beat on there, and we can just do the triplet preset and it should sound pretty good. So let's go do that now. Go to momentary, and then triplet should be right here. Now there is a little bit of clicking going on, so usually you can solve that by going back in Girls Beat, going to this drop down arrow right here, and then putting the click reduction on high. So it'll compensate for the drums and the melody now. And sometimes it still clicks a little bit, but it's just click reduction, like I said. So you'll still hear the clicking, but it's you usually are able to hide it in the mix a little bit with that. You can put a smooth attack compensation on too, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Like I said, you're probably sitting there in your chair like, bruh, this crap easy as freak. Look, mixing is not complicated. It's only complicated when you make it. Now mind you, this is one way to mix. This is my mixing style. Obviously this is derivative of many other mixing styles, and I kind of just put my own like little flair on there. This is just how I like my beats to sound. Now listen to me, look at me in my eyes. Whatever you're doing, stop what you're doing, put the popcorn down. No matter what anyone else tells you, they're wrong, okay?
What?
Whatever anyone tells you, they're wrong. Remember this, when it comes to mixing, you can do whatever you want. If it sounds good, it sounds good, okay? Don't be sending a beat out to somebody and then just changing your whole mixing style because they said this sounds wrong, that sounds wrong. If that sounds good to you, stick with it. Now obviously if they're talking about your 808s are out of key, that's a different situation. But if we're just talking about regular stuff, then that's fine. It's just standard. It's what your ears hear, and that's how you develop your own style, and that's how you become a unique producer. Like if you want to produce and you want to stand out, you got to sound different. You have to sound different. It's imperative. What do you bring to the table that's different? Think about that type of stuff when you're making your beats. What do you want to add into the beat, but you're too scared because Nick Mira didn't put that in the beat, so you want to sound like him so bad that you don't even want to try nothing new? You know what I'm saying? So try to keep those things in mind. And with that being said, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.